I haven't gone in with too much product. Hey guys, so I just realized that I never actually filmed an intro for this video, so here we are. Today we're going to be testing if color correcting actually works, as I try to get back into the LA Girl Pro Concealer because everyone is obsessed with it and it's just never worked for me for whatever reason. So we are going to be testing out if the orange corrector can actually make a difference with the darkness that I see underneath my eyes. That kind of drives me nuts, and it's a bit of a fail with the LA Girl Concealer, but it's a definite win with the orange corrector. So if you want to see how we go from this dark-eyed hot mess to this glamorous-ish result, then just keep watching. I'm going to go in with the littlest bit of color corrector on just one eye, just so we can actually compare the results at the end of the day, because I haven't used the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the longest time, because by the end of the day, even like a couple of minutes after I've just done my concealer, I feel like you can still see the darkness showing through underneath my eyes. So today I've actually skipped even putting foundation in that area, just because I really want to see if I can get good results from the LA Girl Conceal, because when I see that darkness, I assumed like it just didn't have enough coverage for me, so I did buy something that has a lot more coverage, and I do love that concealer. But even with that, I still feel like there's a bit of darkness peeking through, and it's kind of driving me nuts. So I want to get back into color correcting and like really give it a shot and see if it's worth, you know, all the hype, you see everyone like going nuts with the orange corrector all over their faces. Like I want to see if that's actually worth it, but only around my eyes. So I'm going to squeeze some out. Like I'm not trying to go overboard, so I'm just going to use a little bit of it just where I need it. I'm going to apply this to the applicator and then like blend it into the brush. I feel like with the brush, it's kind of taking away the coverage and not really spreading it out as much as I want it to be. So I have found that going in with my finger has actually like pretty evenly spread it around and like given me proper color correcting goodness, like all over the dark areas of my eye. So you can see that I do have some color corrector on the innermost part of my eye, just because there is a bit of extra darkness there. Around the edge of my eye, there's a bit of extra darkness there. And I have focused it mostly right underneath my pupil, because I feel like that's the area that my concealer usually kind of fails me at most frequently. So I haven't gone in with too much product. Oh hell no! You can already see that if I squint a little, this crease right underneath my eye has a lot of product gathering up in it. So I'm just going to take one side of my sponge and go over that area to absorb any excess product, and then I'll use that same side of my sponge to like get the concealer on, and we'll see how it looks, you know. What you'll notice is that with concealers, the formula is a lot thicker than it is with foundation, so it does give a more concentrated amount of coverage in one area, versus foundation, which just like evens out the entire canvas, versus like spot correcting any mistakes, you know. So I have used quite a bit of concealer, but you've seen that I haven't swiped it around everywhere. I've kind of just bounced it in specific areas, and it has blended out really, really well. So this concealer does blend out fantastically. I just have a problem with the way it lasts on my skin, but we'll see. So this is my face with a highlighting concealer. A highlighting concealer is where you use a lighter concealer to like bring brightness to the center parts of your face, which is why you're seeing me drag it along the sides of my nose and bring it up at an angle towards my forehead, towards my hairline, just because that kind of gives a lifting effect to the face, in case you know nothing about concealers and you're watching this video. But you can see in this crease, I already have a bit of product settling in there. So I think I am going to set the side of my face before I move on to the other one, just so we don't have any issues. So I'm going to use my Coty Airspun powder, because I've been watching a few reviews and people say that it actually does help with the creasing, like it doesn't allow product to really settle into that area. So I'm going to look up and really blend into that area, because if I put powder on top of like the gathering and the creasing, it just sets the crease and makes it kind of a permanent thing. So you do have to like blend it out and make sure everything is perfect before you go in with powder. Then I very quickly take just a bit of powder, not too much, not too excessive, and go into that area and set it. So what I'm already noticing is around this area where I've concentrated the blending, the product is kind of moving and shifting and not really looking perfect. It's looking a little bit cakey. So I don't know, maybe the LA Girl concealer products are just not that good quality, where they can't just stay in place as I set my face, or maybe I accidentally got a knockoff and I don't even know. So I'm just going to do the exact same steps on this side of my face minus the corrector, and then we'll compare if there's as much separation in this part of my eye as there is in this one, and then we'll see if it's a corrector that's kind of messing things up, or if the LA Girl concealers are just not that great quality, like if they're overhyped basically. Okay, so from what I'm seeing in my mirror, this side definitely has a lot more darkness just in general coming through, whereas this side has a lot of orange in general coming through. So they both seem to be separating on like any creases that my eyes form. So you can see a bit of separation of product right in this inner area of my eye, and the fact that the orange is so evident on this side compared to this side, even with the amount of concealer that I used on top of it, is kind of concerning. It just makes me feel like this concealer doesn't have as much coverage as everyone hypes it up to be. So maybe it's people without dark circles that are actually looking at this and thinking, oh my gosh, the coverage in this is amazing, I can work miracles with this. Whereas someone like me who's very particular about like my under eye bags and whatever, I notice it immediately. So since we're already here, I thought I might as well try building on the concealer to like see if I can fix the coverage in that area. And it seems to just be getting cakier and cakier. So this cakiness is kind of when it looks like it's gathering and separating at the same time. My eyes basically just look like a hot mess, and as much as I am trying to blend things out, they don't really seem to want to blend without moving the product around them. So we're gonna take all this concealer off. Okay, so this is take 2. I'm going to do this eye with the concealer as I always do, just to show you how amazing the coverage is, and then I'll color correct this eye and then go on top of it with concealer, and we'll see if we get a better result than we got to the LA Girl Pro Conceal. So even just looking in the monitor, this side of my face with the extra layer of color correcting definitely looks more flawless than this one. I feel like right in this area you can see a bit of a shadow, like a bit of darkness, whereas on this side it's like not really showing up. So I think we can actually officially say that color correcting does work to some extent, because I am still seeing a bit of creasing, a bit of gathering in this area right underneath my eyes. It's nowhere near as bad as it was with the LA Girl concealer, but I do experience those issues regularly without color correcting, and I was kind of hoping that color correcting would sort of help with that. What usually happens is that after a few hours, I do have to go in with a skin toned concealer and just clean up that whole area right underneath my eyes. So I'm going to be wearing this makeup for the rest of the day. As you can see, my face is like properly highlighted, and just so it doesn't look too extreme around the eyes, I do like to balance it out with highlighting my forehead a little, my chin a little, and like down the bridge of my nose ever so slightly. So as you can see, it has just sort of brought a bit more balance to my entire face versus just having the brightness be right in the center of my face. So I'm just going to do the rest of my face, do my eyes, and then I'll be back at the end of my day to show you if the darkness that I'm seeing on this side that only has the concealer is as evident at the end of the day. Because what I was watching is one of those like Sephora videos on YouTube, and they explained that the point of color corrector is to bring back warmth to the face. So I do feel like this side of my face definitely looks warmer, so it is definitely looking more alive, versus this side, which is kind of looking a little bit more dull. Like I feel like I'm seeing more darkness peeking through. So I'm pretty happy with the result. I hope it's coming through on camera. But yeah, I will be back at the end of my day to see if it actually holds up long term versus like immediate results, you know. So it's now about 2 hours since I got the concealer done, and I think I'm gonna officially call this video a complete failure, because as you can see, this area underneath my eyes is creasing like crazy. All the product has kind of moved around and settled into the lines in that area, so this is not working out. Neither the side that has the color corrector or the side that just has a concealer is holding up well, and I am used to experiencing this problem. I guess I just hoped that this time, since I was trying something different, maybe it would hold up a bit better. This happened literally, as you can see. I said that I'm going to go off and do the rest of my face and then come back. I just put blush and highlight on, and then I noticed that giant line underneath there, so I just took a break, had lunch and whatever, but literally an hour after I had done everything, it had already started creasing and moving around and whatever. I really hope you can see that. That's why I've brought you like up close and personal, so you can see exactly what it is I'm talking about. But I did want to take this opportunity to show you how I fix these kinds of mistakes. So we are going to call a win on the color correcting, because I feel like this side of my face just looks more overall flawless than this side. It definitely has more coverage, even though I didn't use that much more product with the color correcting on this side. I feel like it definitely looks more alive and healthy, especially in this area right here. It does look darker and like more sunken in and just a lot less plump and like healthy than the side. So I really do like color correcting, and I will start incorporating it into like my regular makeup routine. But I wanted to show you how I deal with this creasing that happens a ton. So I go in with my Black Opal Total Coverage Concealer. I love this because it is my exact skin match, if not a little bit darker maybe. But because I do use this to clean up my brows, I do have a bit of LA Girl Fawn in here, like mixed in just on the top level. So what I do is I take my Miracos brush. I love this. These brushes have come in so handy. I absolutely adore them. I literally take the tiniest amount of product. As you can see, I'm just coating the very tips of the brush, and it doesn't matter if I have like a lighter concealer on top, or even if I just have the exact same skin tone color, because once I put it on, it sort of blends in and it doesn't take away from the highlighted look, because I'm only putting it in a very specific area. I do take a hand mirror because I do like to be up close so that I can see exactly what I'm doing. And then just in this area, I hope you can see that before I correct it, in this area right where the product has kind of disappeared and gathered and bunched, because you can see that darkness coming through very clearly, I just take the very edge of that brush and I sweep it very lightly across just the area that needs fixing. I'm not redoing my entire concealer, so just in that very specific line, I go in with product and I fix it. And I've noticed that if I do this and then set it with powder, it becomes very obvious that that's a fresh patch of makeup. But if I go in with very little concealer and just really spread it around in that area, then it sets itself and I don't have to go in with powder. I don't have to glob on the concealer to really cover up what's going on. So as you can see, that is a huge difference between the side that's fixed and the side that's not. So you can see that there's no more darkness peeking through. And once I do the second step, my makeup is usually good to go for the rest of the day. I don't really know what the logic is, because I try to do that at the very beginning of the day, but I do still have to go in and like correct it after a couple of hours. So I just blend it in all the way, make sure it's actually like blended into the rest of the makeup really well, and then I am good to go. So you can see here the creasing is very evident. All the product from the above that line and below that line has sort of like settled into that line. So I'm going to take that product as well as whatever else extra I have on my brush and just sweep it across. Now here I don't do stamping motions, I do like brush it across, because I want to move that product around as much as possible so that it's not too concentrated in one area. The best that I can tell you from this video is that color correcting works, and it is 100% worth it. I am loving this side of my face, even with all the concealer issues, versus this side, which just looks like a little bit too dark for my liking, you know? Thank you for watching. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Be sure to subscribe so you can join the family. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you have any tips on how I can make my concealer work better. Might even try baking in another video just to see if it actually makes like a difference, if it's actually helpful in preventing all that creasing and whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.